welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Kimberly Ann Southwick.
And I'm Zachary Patton-Garcia, and we're here to talk Angel Season 2, Episode 11's Redefinition, or, aka, When Angel Was Bad.
Before we get started, though, I'd like to talk about the Patreon. Subscribing to our Patreon, we have a bunch of different tiers, starting from $1 a month to $30 a month. And you can partake in our Facebook group, our Discord, that are just for Patreon subscribers. You can get access to our bonus episodes. Zach and I did a Buffy tier ranking. We had an episode on Red, White, and Royal Blue. And we'll be having a bunch of video and audio episodes coming up. And we have Patreon Zooms to partake in and watch-alongs. And any and all support is much appreciated and helps keep this podcast going. Okay, so what did everyone think just overall of the episode? Zach, I'm curious, because I was so excited for you to watch this 3-part arc, even though it ends on a little bit of a fart. I'm curious, what did you think of this final episode of the little...
It's got some great moments. It wasn't as good as the second part as the last episode, but it's got some great moments. And then it has just the Angel cringe that the reason I don't like Angel, like when he's like, they got the moves, I got the moves, like I hate shit like that, but then I love, we'll get to it, like the shots of Darla and Drew walking, or, the parts where, the three are doing karaoke, so it's got more good than bad.
Yeah. Yes. Kim?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The monologue and the montage were a bit much for Angel because his character is already kind of meh at this point. He hasn't really come into his own. I mean, maybe this is part of what gets him there, I would say, though, one of the things I like about the Angel parts are that he doesn't say a word the whole episode. And there are moments when you get towards the end where he has a chance to speak and you think he might, but then him not speaking and all we get is that internal monologue. I think they could have cut down on that, but I do like how he doesn't say anything out loud the whole time.
Shit, I didn't even, Kim, until you said that right now.
I didn't notice it. Leave it to women, because I truly... Yeah, that went right over my head. And
it does kind of make the interior monologue parts better in a way, because we're getting something from him, but that's the only way, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would have been a little silly if he's walking through the tunnel going, I got the moves. They've got the moves.
Which one has a PhD here and which two do not? Because both of us are like, oh, wow.
I didn't even finish college.
I don't think this episode's bad by any means, and it's definitely better than a lot of other Angel episodes, but I think what you said, Zach, is perfectly correct. That it has more good than bad, but some of the bad is real bad. The narration is just, and I know he's done that before, right? And even in Buffy, we had that in Passions, he does the narration, but this was just... Yeah.
It's brooding Angel, which is the Angel shtick that I just don't like. And I've only gotten into this Angel for you, Ian. So I'm sticking with it for you. But on my own, I wouldn't watch this because of the Angel shtick. I don't like brooding Angel. Okay. I will say it's a little better in this.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is brooding Angel in 20-something supposed to be hot? And he's just not hot in 2023?
Maybe that's it.
I think that's what it is.
So brooding Angel is terrible. I hate it. It's cringe, but it's slightly less cringe in this, which is, contradicting what I said earlier. Just because when he doesn't give a fuck anymore, he's more got fuckboy energy, and I like that a little bit more. So I do think he's pretty sexy in this episode. I just anytime we've got the overhanging narration, I'm just just don't speak. Just put a cigarette out on me. Don't say anything else.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and the thing about Angel, right, is we like him better with the ensemble. And while we still get the ensemble in this, he's so separated that it's just I also found myself thinking, but what the fuck is he doing? What? I don't know. He gets so angsty and he doesn't even kill them. He just lights them on fire. And he's I mean, now I'm way jumping ahead, but when he's oh, they can fight what does he say? Something I think I wrote it down. Let them fight the good fight. Someone has to fight
we'll get to it. Let's not jump ahead to that yet,
yes,
because I have notes on that. However, and all of his lines on this, if you would let Sarah Michelle Gellar read them, I'd be on the floor. I'd be like, this is amazing. This is like, I add it to her most quotable lines. But like, it comes from him. I'm just like, just let him have the hair and like the shirt and the shaved armpits and be hot, right?
So, okay, we start with kind of like right where the last one left off, which I do like. I like this arc as a whole. I wish it ended better, but I do like Angel starts doing this season, right, Kim? And then they do this a lot, where it's like the episodes are not really like a be continued. It's just kind of like they'll have mini arcs.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, that does work. I do like a little mini
I prefer
arc.
that, yeah.
Better than episode of the day, oh, here's a blonde girl we have to save.
Yes, because I never care about the blonde girl.
We do talk about the blonde girl. Darla, it's always about Darla. It's always some blonde driving him over the edge.
Right?
This would be me leaving, asking, I would be like already looking at a severance package, because he's not about to do that to me. I don't think so.
I do love that it's like Cordy's like, can someone explain what just happened here? And like, they're like, well, we got to fight. She's like, no, but what happened?
Yeah.
And I like that Gunn's kind of like, I don't know, this is just a side gig. I'm going to get a burrito. But like,
he does. Gunn's not even walking out with a box, is he? He didn't even have a box of things there. He's like, whatever.
He's like, yeah, I lived somewhere else. This wasn't really my job. I like that. I like when I forget what exactly, I didn't write down what exactly she says, but Cordy's saying like, this just, and Wesley says something like, oh, it hurts. And the look on her face, I was like, man, I do have trouble reconciling all of this, because I mean, spoiler alert, but I'm assuming you know this, Zach, he does eventually, they get all back together.
Oh, really? With like 3.5 seasons to go. Right. I expected them to be apart forever. You know, it was, I was really annoyed for most of this episode with this group and the amount they talked about Angel, but then it like rounded out right at the end, because it brings them to almost their purpose. You know, we're still going to go on. We don't need Angel to go on and do this. But it is like, it starts to wear on me, like from this point to about the middle, when they just are only speaking about Angel.
Yeah. I feel like if the characters weren't so good and the dialogue weren't so well written, I might feel the same way about them, but maybe like, I don't know. I've been annoyed with them recently, so I like them in this episode. Not that I feel like they got what they deserved or anything, but I like them sort of coming together. It takes the whole episode, but coming together on their own, even if they're going to talk about Angel to get there.
Yeah, it was really good stuff.
Yeah, I will say that the only reason it didn't bother me is because it's like kind of the same day. So it's like, not only is it like someone who they were like, you know, they considered themselves to be like this little family, but also like, he was their boss and that's their job. And you know what I mean? Like you do talk about that when you get fired. I mean, I'm still talking about my job I got fired from.
Well, I also don't hear Cordy. Like, I really like hearing Cordy talking about auditioning or whatever the hell she's doing that day, right? And I haven't heard a whole lot of that from this season.
Yeah, I think, Kim, don't they kind of address that eventually? That like,
well, I mean, once she starts to get those visions, like what is she supposed to do?
I don't know, even like an Arby's trip. I want to hear about that. I just want to hear about her day.
So then we, you know, they part ways, and then we see Angel, one of his many dramatic silent moments. I was like,
Angel, Taylor Swift, Picture to Burn.
I was like, what is he doing? Like,
yeah.
All right, you just throw them away. Like, I don't know. You don't have to like burn them. But
it's more symbolic that way. Okay, he's a messy queen, and we accept it.
He's got to do some pull-ups to make himself feel better.
Then we get the credits, and post credits, we get a little bit more of Angel doing his dramatic voiceover and getting ready to fight. But more importantly, after that, we cut to a row of dead lawyers in this wine cellar.
This is fun stuff. I like this.
I don't know. I feel like I like seeing the aftermath. Like, not, you know, I just like seeing like Lindsay's a little bit in shock, and like,
and he's just buried under those bodies.
Yes.
Like they're on him. And because I knew Lila lived, right? So I was like looking for her, and I didn't see her. But then we have him like, he's like dazed, and like people are carting bodies away, but he's not dazed in that he can't believe what just happened. He's like, they left me. I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's like very upset. Jill Roberts, realizing she's not the only survivor at the end of this massacre.
I love like how like shitty they are to each other, like from that very moment. And I also like the way it's filmed, where it looks like he's like sideways or upside down, and then he's just like leaning against a wall. So it's like you should be laying down, like being taken care of, but no, like you're you, so you're actually standing there, like trying to figure out the rest of your life, not like in mourning because all of these people you were just with were literally brutally murdered in front of you.
Also, speaking of the way the bodies were piled, I was like, in my brain, I was like, but so they purposely let Lila and Lindsay live, but what did they do to them, right? Like, what did they do to them that Lindsay ended up being?
I know. What's the little like nick on his like jawline, right?
Yeah.
Like they just like flicked him and he went flying or something. I don't know. Because Lila seemed a little bit more shaken up than Lindsay.
Yes.
So I had the idea that Lindsay was around to watch most of it.
Yeah. Yes. But I think the thing we're supposed to also take from it is, remember in the previous episode when Darla is in the office to get Drew, and she like goes up to him and she's like, "You're not afraid." And it's, I guess, Lindsay's supposed to be like the foil to Angel, right? So he's also an angsty motherfucker. And I think it's like he's going through his like super angsty era at this point. And so it's like,
they're all too old for this. Absolutely too old for this.
They're younger than me, I think. Shut up. But I do like their dynamic. I'm the only one left. And then he's like, someone's like, "Hey, we got a live one over here." And he's like, "We do?" Like, he's annoyed. We cut to Wesley. He's talking to Virginia. I don't think I've been on an episode with her yet because she's a character I often forget about.
Same.
I had no idea she existed.
I remember him talking about her, but I have not rewatched an episode with her.
I'm glad the three of us are on the same page with this, because this lady shows up and she's talking about compensation and unions, and I'm like, who are you? And is this Wesley's apartment? And do you live here? Is this where your residence is? Is this where your mail comes? So
she is the throwaway person they save in Guys Will Be Guys when Wesley has to pretend to be Angel. And you think she's just like a one-off. And then they just randomly start showing, like, they talk about her.
Yeah.
Like, they talk about her more than they show her. Because, like, then, like, an episode later, I think or 2 episodes later, is when Wesley's telling Cordelia he's going to a movie premiere of hers and has an extra ticket. They talk a lot about her more than they show her. So yeah, spoilers actually, she just kind of fades away, right, Kim?
She looks like the woman who cut all her hair off in the college party in Buffy. That's who I thought this was.
Oh, she kind of does. You're right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's a character that I think they could have done more with, but I feel like she's one of the many Angel characters where they were like, shit, I don't know what to do with her. Well, let's just stop showing her.
Yeah, we can't have Wesley dating this other person, and we don't really want to make a whole episode about it. Let's make one about a Shroud instead. But I kind of like her character as someone who's in the know, but not necessarily like fighting the good fight. Like her dad's like, what is it? My father always used union conjurers, she knows things that like most people don't know, but she's surviving on her lots of therapy and gigantic trust fund, not like, doing the good things.
Yeah. And I like that she's like very supportive of him too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he doesn't really have someone that's like in his corner totally. Like Cordy and Angel just started to get there and then Angel fired them all. So I always feel like Virginia was like a missed opportunity. And I always wonder because there's the guy that's like in Office Space, whose name I can't remember, who plays like that really rich, nerdy guy. And he's in like 3 episodes. And I did read that at that time, that guy was like in a lot of things and they just couldn't schedule him on the show. So they stopped writing his character. And I wonder like how many characters that happened with on Angel, because there are so many that are in like 4 episodes and then never again. But yeah, so every one of the Angel things, I'm just like, here's in my notes. Here was another Angel montage.
You could have just put it all at the beginning of the episode and just, it all sounds the same. Angel trains, Angel tortures, Angel interrogates.
Angel descends into the sewers.
We all cringe.
He might look hot doing it, ? But we're still cringing.
Is this when he fights all those people? No, that's
not
later,
yet.
right? Okay,
It's like-
okay. So I do have one thing to say about that.
Yeah, it's like right after Lindsay and Lila walk back into the office and are confronted by Drew and Darla.
Right. So yes, we see Lila and Lindsay going back to work, and I love Lila so much. I love that they're more like you said, Kim. It's like they're at each other's throats. They're not like they would have like PTSD from this shit, like watching every one of their coworkers, including their boss, get like brutally murdered.
Right.
But I love that the two of them are more just like bickering and more worried about what's going to happen to them, like what Wolfram and Hart's going to do. And like, I don't know, I really love that. And I love that when they walk in, they both stop when they see Darla and Drew, and Darla calls him Sweet Pea and is like, if I wanted you dead, I would have killed you in the wine cellar, Sweet Pea. And Drew has this really weird line where she says about Lindsay, he's got cow eyes, big and black.
Oh,
and
that's a great line.
Like a half-assed moo.
Yeah, the moo is so good.
She looks phenomenal too. I love this look. This is gonna
Really?
Yeah, Drew's look here.
Wait, is this not the same thing she wears?
This is not the sweater.
Okay.
No.
Okay, because I hate that sweater. Jail for that sweater. And I love Darla like going up and being all like baby whispery, sexy, and then being like, I'm in love with you, and then fucking laughing. Then Drew laughs, then Lila laughs, then Darla tells Lila to shut up.
Yeah.
You're not one of us. You can't sit with us.
Yeah. And I do like that we at least get some kind of explanation for why they did spare them. And I do think Darla's posturing a little bit, because I feel like she spared Lindsay not just so it's like because she did kind of like him. Not like him, but like likes, like, you know, when somebody likes you and you like having them around, but you don't necessarily like them that much, but you're still going to entertain them so that you can be entertained. Yeah, I totally get that. But you know what I mean? Like, I do think, because if it was just like, oh, anyone that could be the partner I'll spare, I don't think Lindsay, I don't know, but I do think there was a little bit more. Lila definitely was just like, oh, she's someone I kind of know. I'll spare her too, just in case.
Well, it's like if she has like a cage full of pet rats and there's one rat that you know, kind of care a little bit more about. If, you know, you have to keep 2 rats out of your 50, you know, I'll keep that one. You know, that's Lindsay.
Lindsay also like took their side sometimes. So nice to have him. And Lila, on the other hand, maybe didn't, but also like knows the rules. And even if she abides by them, it's good to have someone who knows the rules.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like maybe they at least know Lila's like very capable at that shit.
True.
Although, like, and I feel like, like she says, the only reason I feel like killed Holland Manners rather than just killing everyone around him is because she says something about she doesn't like being used, right? Yeah, I loathe being used. And she sent, what is it? If I recall, I believe I sent you a 15-body memo to that effect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that they're like, yeah, she's like, yeah, that was just revenge. And that's why I fucking murdered those people. To like prove a point. And I just love seeing her and Drew together. Like, they're such a good duo of like, it reminds me of Buffy season 5. Whenever Glory was around, you would be like, oh shit. Cause like Glory literally could murder any one of them in a second. And like, that's how I feel when it's Darla and Drew together. Cause they're both like, Darla's very calculated. Drew is not, but Drew is going to listen to Darla. And it's like, you don't know. She could be like, all right, now we're going to murder you. Now we're going to eat you. Now we're going to rip your arms off. And like, that could happen, right?
And I do also like the sibling relationship they almost have, right? Like, we use a lot of grandmother, mother, sibling. Like, there's just their relationship is so interesting that way. But like in the sibling way, Darla's like super annoyed with Drusilla a lot of the time.
Oh yeah,
like, when Drew like starts going off on her, like, you know, little I see the stars bit.
And they're both dangerous in their own way, right? Like Drew's like unpredictability and that her visions, right? Like this like makes her dangerous. But like Darla's not Spike, Darla's not putting up with it, you know? And she also doesn't benefit then from Drew's visions because Drew's telling her what's about to happen half the time. Yes. And without an interpreter, you know, like that information sort of like falls to nobody. But at the same time, Darla, like Lila, is very capable, and just her as a villain in this episode, very much like Holland's as a villain in the previous episode. Like, she really shines as a villain in this episode, in this scene, and a lot of the other ones. You know, the one where they just walk into that like room of like fighting demons is a good example too, where she just like sort of owns the room.
She really does, right? She has a really good presence of like, this is the woman in charge. Like, you listen to her. She
absolutely.
very much has that.
Yes, I will listen to you, Julie Benz.
Yeah. Then we get the montage of Angel fighting the vampires in the sewer, which I put in my notes, looks nearly identical to the set that he fights in the trial. Just lit differently. It's lit blue instead of red.
Can see that. It was such a weird set, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this supposed to be?
A sewer? Question mark? Why are there blue lights in the sewer? I need to spend more time down there?
Very well structured and clean. No shit covered walls, as I would expect a sewer to look like.
I gotta ask my friends in LA like what their sewers are like, right? Like,
I feel like in movies and shows, sewers and air ducts are just always way bigger than they actually would be.
Maybe it's an air duct. Maybe that's where it is. Is it the air duct at LA
He
High
does
School?
like drop himself down, like there's like a secret passageway like to the sewers. I think it's like supposed to be the sewers.
Yeah,
it's gotta be. Or like passageways under Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Which are usually sewers.
Yeah, I was just about to say, which like usually that's just a sewer, but whatever. Also, it's so stupid. Like, what is he? He's been fighting vampires. We've been watching him fight vampires for 5 years now. So, like, I don't know. He's fine. He doesn't need to train. It's not like he doesn't know how to fight them. And I also feel like vampires are kind of like him and Buffy. Vampires are not like that much of a struggle to fight.
I mean, there's like he's got to be more emotionally ready, and he's like getting emotionally ready through getting physically ready? Question mark.
He's just getting himself hopped up. It's like going to like a bar and you want to get into a fight, right? Because you're going on to fight the big boss at the end of the week.
Never thought that before, but okay.
Well, I'm saying that's what he's doing here. And so he's working his nerve up. He's like,
Just imagine you like working out at home and then like going into a bar like in Texas and like fighting everyone.
No, I'm not fighting anybody.
I'm into it
Promise
though.
That, yeah. Okay. Well, if you're into it.
I love how much you've brought up bar fights in like all the recordings we've done, Zach.
I miss a bar fight. I miss being like a 21-year-old angsty motherfucker who thinks he's invisible. I would never get into one of those now.
Oh, now you're just friends with me to fulfill your angst.
There you go. We'll get into a bar fight.
And watching Angel.
Yeah.
Please don't get to a bar fight with Ian. Promise me right now.
I know.
The only time if we're talking about the only time I've ever almost been in a bar fight was because of Kim, because I was defending her, and I was like, "This guy's gonna kick my ass, but I'm gonna still yell at him."
The guy that I gave the Christmas tree guy the free tickets. Anyway,
they were expired. Yeah. Anyway,
I love the little out of context, context clues, right?
So then we cut to Caritas, and I do like that the gang just happens to meet up there. And I like that Wes and Cordy my brain was like, but why would they go to a demon bar to drink? Like, they are human, they could be murdered there. And then they both mention that they're there to sing, so Lauren can, tell them whatever. And it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Mm. Cordy looks great too. I love this coat.
She does. And I like when Wes asked Cordy who's going to help her through it, and she says,
Shania Twain and Madonna, man. And we got We Are the Champions. Come on.
I know. They probably couldn't afford Shania Twain or Madonna songs.
Probably not. This was the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I also love when Wesley asks Gunn what he would sing, and he's like, you wouldn't know it. And like, we don't, like, because, we're all like, oh, we want to know, but it's perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect.
It's so fitting.
It's kind of aware, like, of, like, the fact that, like, Gunn is a black man on a show that's, like, mostly white people, right, as well. I feel like it's like, no, like, that's mine. Like, you can't have it.
And especially Wesley wouldn't. Like, maybe
Cordelia. I think maybe Cordelia, but I feel like Wesley doesn't know most of this. So
I feel like Wesley wouldn't even know, like, Shania Twain or Madonna.
The Shania Twain, the Madonna, none of it. He knows, like, Enya, maybe.
What does he say? Isn't he saying, like, maybe Cat Stevens? Like, that's who he says he might.
I could see him doing Running Up That Hill. That'd be a nice one for Wesley.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. And I then we get like this is a very Buffy verse type cut when Cordelia is saying, well, now Angel's all alone. And then we cut to him not alone and like shaking up Laurel.
Yeah.
Who's like the reoccurring informant. Zach, I don't know. Have you seen him yet?
Yes, I have seen him. Well, I remember him, and so I know I've seen him before. But
yeah, he's like a random reoccurring character that Angel like beats.
Just let me get the information. I'm bad. I'm Angel Boreanis.
He tells Angel of a spot in La Cienega to go find them. Do we know what this is? Is this like a demon fight club, or these like?
That's what I have it written down as.
He calls it a bar, but then it's not a bar.
Right?
It's Fight Club.
Not.
It's Fight Club.
It's like a warehouse. Yeah, Fight Club warehouse.
Yeah. So Darla and Drew crash this whatever demon fight club, and the leader's like, "Oh, I've never heard of you." And then Drusilla rips off his ears, which I love. Like, give me more of that shit from Drew.
Yeah. And I like how they also walk in there and like nobody fights them. You can, at first I was like, they would get fought with, but then I'm like, no, like the gall of them maybe is just stops everyone and the way that they're talking. And then Drew does that and it's like, oh, okay. Like, let's listen to him talk.
Yeah, in this universe also, I think demons are very willing to follow a smooth-talking female baddie, i.e. Vampire Willow. Like, nobody questioned Vampire Willow, right? She just broke a couple fingers and they all followed her. It's the exact same thing here.
They're all gay men.
Yes, they're like, you look fantastic. What would you like us to do? Be your muscular slaves? Absolutely.
This is one of those times, though, where, like, Darla would benefit from listening to Drew, and it seems like Drew's like messing up this like posturing that she's doing, but at the same time it's like, no, like pay attention to what she's saying because she's literally telling you that Angel's standing in the crowd right here.
This was funny.
Yeah.
She mentions it and Darla has a full freak out and she's like moving people out of the way and trying to look at everybody's faces.
Yes. And like I kind of love that Drusilla, like you said, Drusilla is literally telling her, like throughout this episode, she is saying out loud what is going to happen, but we know what it is only because we're viewers, and it would make sense that Darla would have no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
Because she's not Spike.
Okay, maybe Drusilla should have like sped it up and said, hey, I see fire and us in it, or something a little bit more specific.
I mean, she eventually says she sees fire.
Oh, goodness.
She does.
And not that Spike's the best interpreter of Drew, but like even when he's like babying her about it, like he's still at least listening.
Yes. Yes, I agree with that.
This is season 5
of Buffy.
So what is Spike doing right now? Just moseying around Buffy's house, basically.
Yeah, this is when he's like having a crush on her.
Yeah, he's out for a walk.
Yeah, after this episode is when Drusilla goes back to Sunnydale.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Also, kind of silly that like he's just in a hoodie.
Yeah.
And like
in vamp face.
Yeah, but like
can't they smell each other? Like, don't they know he's there?
That's what I would think, right? They're related. They're all related.
Yeah.
Come on.
I guess there's a lot of smelly demons there.
That's true. All right. But I do like the he walks behind her and that's when Drusilla like snaps and she's like, oh, he's here. He's watching you.
Yeah.
And like,
what's this card that they drop? Like,
yeah.
I was wondering about that. They have like a calling card or like it's like they have a phone number now? They don't even live anywhere.
They set up offices. They have offices now.
When do they have time to do that? Like Drusilla just sired Darla like 2 weeks ago.
It doesn't matter. They work fast. They have an LLC now.
I thought it was cute though that they dropped a little card. I don't know.
And what does she say? Like the winners get to join or something like that, right?
Yeah, like they're starting a crew.
Yeah. Then we get more of Angel narration. We cut back to Wolfram and Hart. I really like Kim. I'm curious what you thought of this scene because I really liked Lila doing this like shitty, seedy setup to him.
Yeah. I think like the moment where he grabs her and like they're about to make out is such a good little fake out. You're like, oh, something's gonna happen, and then it's just like no, like he's on top of it, like he's got it. But I thought they both acted their parts very well. Like I forgot that was what was going to happen. And I kind of believed like both of the way that they were acting in the moment. So yeah, I think it really pulls out their potential and just this way that they hate each other, like is sort of beautiful.
It's like fun to watch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Zach, what'd you think?
No, I completely agree with that. I think I like seeing them go for each other.
Yeah.
And then the entire setup towards the end of this where they are actually going to have to best each other, you know?
Yeah.
Like, That's the fun with them.
Yes, I agree. And they both, like you said, Kim, they both do it so well. Like, it makes for such an enjoyable watch. That even rewatching this, I had forgot what was going on. I was like, wait, I don't remember them like hooking up. And it was like, oh, right, that's why I don't remember, because it's a setup and it doesn't actually happen.
And I love Lindsay saying, I would never take files from my boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that, like, even though we got to know and we kind of liked Lila by this point, it's like we're reminded, oh, right, they are like shitty, seedy lawyers. Like, they are not.
Yeah.
Even if it's like they're both in the same boat together, they're still not going to play it out like we are together in this.
I mean, you like them like you like any villain. They're just these weird, like, tertiary villains.
Yeah.
They're like they're the part of the big bad, but the fact that it's a law firm makes it like weird because they're not specifically the big bad.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I like that he also like clocks it immediately when she gets close to kiss him, and he just like pulls out I really like that. And then
we're back at the bar.
Yeah.
Right. And I like, this is me. Cordelia's drunk and she's getting loud and she's blaming everyone for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I do love it. I love Charisma Carpenter doing it drunk.
Yeah.
It's and I was looking at their drinks, and she had margarita with salt in the rim, which was really nice to see.
Which feels fitting.
Yes.
I like how they're all drunk, but like at first she's definitely the one that is like the most drunk.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, are all of them drunk? And it's like, well, she definitely is.
She needs some girlfriends, man.
She does. She really does.
Where's Harmony?
Yeah.
Could you imagine their drunken night it's out? That would be fantastic.
I feel like I would have so much fun with them. But okay, so we get back to the bar. Everyone throws around. Gunn calls Wes a pansy. Cordy uses the R word. Not great.
Cordy says the R word and calls Wesley an ass pansy, aka a faggot.
Yes. I was like, God, just say it, Cordy. We know you want to.
Oh, no, just say it. Well, you have the pass. Yeah. This was 2000 whatever.
And I like that then we like build up to like, Lauren is like, you all want another round? They all yell yes. And they're like getting louder and yelling more. And they're like, also they're correct in saying he was obsessed with Darla, because he is obsessed with her.
Mm-hmm.
They're obsessed with him.
And is this also where Cordy mentions, like, it's always some little blonde? Like, she says that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, I love her. And I love her always being able to, like, call him on that shit. She's, like, very good at it. And so they're building up, but they're yelling. And then we cut to what, Zach? Them doing what?
We are the champions.
Yeah.
This could have been Man, I Feel Like a Woman. It could have been... that don't impress me much, but we are the champions, which fine, I guess.
Fine, I guess.
Queen is hard.
Yes, but we are the champions.
I guess no matter what, they would have been bad at it, you know. So
I guess.
Yeah.
It was fun though. It was fun. It was fun seeing them just yelling. Singing. And like you can see, if you look at like Cordy, you can see her like vocal cords really straining as she's like yelling the words.
And I like a drunk moment in a show, or a drunk or high moment. Like, I always love that. It always like works on me.
Oh, and it's fun because their coworkers going out and getting drunk because they all just got laid off together, right? So
it's like
not on purpose, but yeah,
yeah.
Just wind up at the same bar.
And so then Lauren tells them he's impressed with their pain.
No, he's impressed with the pain that they caused him.
Right.
He corrects that. Yeah,
right.
It's a little double-edged sword there.
Cordy then gets a vision in front of everyone. She's a girl in an alley, and the thing I like about this is the show is just like showing us that this is just a thing to get them somewhere. Like, we're not having to like, ooh, what is the thing? What is it? Like, ooh, who's the girl they're saving? Because like Angel season 1 would have like given us the girl they're saving, like walking home from her apartment, talking to her boyfriend. And like,
I don't need to see her backstory. Yeah. I don't care about random blonde girl number 32.
Yes, I don't. Do not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was more for them, and that's what I really loved about it.
Yeah. And like, while like the cutting from like Angel training more to like them doing this, like
All the training leads up to like this little minuscule of a moment, right? Like
I mean, he does kill like a gazillion demons. You need to be really strong for that, Zach.
Well, we don't even get a damn fight between them, the three of them. Like we should have got fight part 2, like battle royale.
Do you think it's because when we got the greenhouse fight in the previous episodes, Angel probably would have lost against them if Darla hadn't have been like kind of fighting both of them? Like they couldn't justify like the three of them all like surviving a fight between like the three of them where they're really it's the two of them against Angel.
I feel like David Boreanaz showed up on set and was like, man, I look like a pansy. I'm not fighting them again. I'm not gonna beat it.
Oh, God. And then we get Darla and Drew. This is when they're like walking out of that bar. This feels like, I feel like we get this version of Drew saying this like 10 different times. And she's like, I didn't like the barkeep. His eyes got stuck in my fingers. And she does like a little, like, I feel like that's a very like Drusilla thing to say. Because I feel like in season 2 of Buffy, she says something like, I went for a walk and met a man. I didn't like him. He got stuck in my teeth. So I like that that's like part of how she talks.
Get some new material, Drusilla. This shot is fucking gorgeous of Darla and Drusilla walking with the blue night behind them and street lamps and everything's out of focus behind them. And it's like a really extended shot. Yeah. And it's gorgeous. Like you could screenshot this and frame it and put it on the wall.
And maybe I will.
Yes, should.
And I do like that this is where we see how like, I almost feel like Darla left with Drusilla is like, I don't know. It's like when like the coworkers you like all quit, and then this is the coworker you're stuck with, and it's like, I don't really. And
you don't remember how much you dislike them until you've been alone for a while. Like at first, it's like, oh, this is fun. Let's go shopping and kill a bunch of people. And now it's like, but you annoy me because I don't like poetry.
Yeah.
And Darla's also trying to keep herself like busy a little bit because remember she did when she was first turned in like was whipping Drusilla's ass and then asked her why. She was visibly upset, you know, and she turned it really quick. That doesn't mean she got over it. She just turned it. And so she's trying to keep herself going. Go, 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 go. She's a go girl because if she's not, then she sits and thinks about, you know, the life that this second, third, whatever fucking life this is that she has, that life is gone now again. And it's sad, you know?
Yeah. Darla just has like, I don't know. I like the way, I really, really didn't appreciate Darla enough when I watched the show live because I just like, she has all these layers and you can kind of feel bad for her while knowing she's also evil, right?
Yeah.
Because then she does start, isn't this a scene? Yeah, this is when, no, this isn't when, oh yeah, this is when Drew tells Darla she's like obsessed. And then Darla, like, does the thing where she's like, I'm not obsessed, you're obsessed. How could I be obsessed? In the perfect world, Angelus would be here, and he would be great, and it would be wonderful. And, like, rambles her way into proving that Drusilla is correct, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. But don't be embarrassed in front of Drusilla, though.
I love how the conversation fades off because she's like, where is he? Probably flogging himself in a church somewhere. And Drew's like, ooh, flogging. Ew, churches. Like, so good.
I love that that's what they think. That's what they think of Angel also. Because that's what I also think of Angel. It's just the brooding angel who is
that's the thing,
flogging himself at the church.
It's weird, right? Because like we can be like, yeah, that's corny, but then the characters make fun of him for it.
It's like, very self-aware.
Right? So then this is, and Drew also mentions like the flames they hurt. Like, and I know it's like, that's easy writing, but I love that kind of writing.
Be specific, Drusilla. Be specific, because this is about, that pink sweater you got on? That nice pink sweater?
She's
you probably killed somebody for.
Zach, she's a poet.
No,
for B.
No. Write some prose. Some like prose. Give us a description.
She can't. She's a poet. So then we go back to Wes and Cordy. They're fighting this demon. Gunn kills it. Wesley gets like stabbed or scraped or something.
I like how they go in without the weapons and they improvise with the weapons there.
Yes.
I think that's very, like, that's like important that they do that. And that's sort of, even though they kind of make fun of each other afterwards, like Cordy's like, no, like we did this, you know? And they're like, okay, we did. You're right.
Yeah. And I like that because she's correct. Because
I like that they're drunk too doing this.
Yeah.
Like when you think about
Yeah,
it,
fair.
I wish they would have walked off singing "We Are the Champions" at least.
Zach, this would be us.
They're not drunk anymore. They got that like adrenaline rush that kills your drunk.
The visions immediately sobered her up.
Probably, yeah. But Zach, now like we're like 10 shots in and like, oh wait, let's go find a demon. Yeah.
It's time to. I'm glad. Don't say that because it'll get in our heads and we'll end up searching alleyways for damsels.
And I do like Cordy's line of like when Wes is like, we should go to the hospital before I pass out. And she's like, and Gunn says something about how dangerous it was. And she's like, yeah, but out of everyone here, which one of us is dead? Which is a very good, like, I think Cordelia, she's like doing, like Willow did this, right? Like in the later seasons of Buffy, we started to see her be able to take charge because she's more confident in like Cordelia was always confident, but it was more like in Mean Girl things. And we're seeing her more confident in her like demon fighting, hunting, saving the world skills, which I like.
Yeah, because she's a member of this team, a valuable member of this team, and she has the visions.
Yeah.
So they ain't going to know where to go save somebody.
Constantly underestimating her.
Exactly. They need to start a union. This is the time.
Virginia can help.
I would say Wesley's girlfriend told them.
she's already drafting it up.
We see Angel walking to where they are first, right? Like Angel.
Yes, he goes into the warehouse and shuts the door, and then we cut to something else at some point. Yeah, so we know he's in there.
I also love how little we've talked about Angel, even though it's his show. But like, right, he doesn't really do much
because he's bad. He's bad.
I do wish it could have been I think it could have been a cool fight, but I feel like that's a way to save on budget, right? Probably.
I wanted to see a full like fight and then Angel go like full Laurie Strode. He's got a trap set up in this place, traps them in a basement or something, throws a flare down, lights them on fire.
I mean,
that would have been a good ending to this, but I need the fight.
Yeah. So they walk in and they see that he's killed all their muscle. And Darla kind of starts taunting him, right? Where she's like, why don't you come over here and stake me?
Yeah. She's like doing her villain thing and he's just not talking over there, smoking a cigarette, which he doesn't do. So I was confused. But then, he drops it. And then you remember that Drew had just said it smelled like death or something. And Darla's like, no, that's motor oil.
Yeah.
Right? And like, oops. let's put all these things together more quickly, y'all.
Yeah, Darla, it was both. I do also like that Darla says Angelus.
Yeah.
Like right before he lights them on fire, because even like I like that he's even throwing off Darla, who has known him for like
centuries.
Yeah.
Angel's a theater kid.
God, he is. He's like, this is my dark era, and no one talked to me.
You think he painted his room black before he left, like before he went out? We all know Angelus has the pale lips, so all you got to do is look at his mouth. If he's got pale lips, he's Angelus.
That is true. That yeah. Also, that reminds me of Kim. You'll get a kick out of this. Zach and I recorded the other day, and I was wearing my I bought a Kenough shirt from the fall, and it's like pastel-y tie-dye, and Zach was like, oh, you're the opposite, like you're wearing pastels and I know that means you're depressed. Like in a movie or show normally it's the opposite. I was like, it's a Barbie shirt, it's different.
Well, with Angel you never know because he's always wearing dark clothes anyway.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. He throws his cigarette and they light on fire, and oh boy, their screaming is like pretty brutal.
Incredibly rude. Sexist, racist, homophobic somehow,
I think it's so cool. I just like that I don't know, it's so brutal, and like they are screaming.
Yeah.
And like we especially never see like, I don't know, we don't really see the big villains have that kind of thing happen, right? Like
they sell the pain.
Yeah, they really do.
I'm like, are they gonna die?
Right.
Like knowing.
But wouldn't they? Because we've seen vampires on fire shorter than that. And
they're not
they go
as close to hydrants.
Huh.
Conveniently close to hydrants.
I
do love that they're close to the hydrant. Just go straight over and like.
I mean, honestly, I'm like, not my Drew.
I think, isn't it with fire that it's just like fire, they just light on fire, but like daylight is what makes them turn to dust?
Oh, probably. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know, but they do play fast and loose with that. Like a vampire can be thrown out into the sunlight and dust, but then like Spike can put a blanket over him and run for like miles and be fine.
No, they should have just thrown a blanket over themselves.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
There's always like, a blanket laying around in an alley somewhere.
I also do like that I don't know that I would have even been like a fire. Oh, good. Let me open this fire hydrant. Like I'd feel like my brain would just be like, I'm on fire.
Smart thinking. I know. I would get the hydrant again. Okay. You would be there rambling about the stars and Daddy.
That's like, come over here where the water is. The thing that Angel starts to do that I do like is, and I mean, we said this in season 1 too, but this is where it gets good, is that they start to do stuff that we didn't really see on Buffy. And I do like that. That shit I appreciate. Like, the villains at the height of their, like, getting it together being defeated by being fucking lit on fire. And, like, when Drew is, like, I like that almost Drew drops her pretense and she calls her Darla. And I don't think she calls her Darla prior to that. Because she's like, Darla, help me. And it's, like, weird hearing her not call her, like, grandmom or, like, my daughter or whatever weird fucking thing she wants to call her. Because she's, like, she becomes more childlike, right?
Yeah, like, certainly. She's like, help me. It hurts.
I know. I always feel so terrible for her, too. I'm like, leave her alone. Get a job.
Like, leave her be. She's fine. And so, this is where, doesn't Darla say, like, he was that wasn't Angel
Yeah, that
either?
wasn't Angel. That wasn't Angelus. Who was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good little trilogy of lines, certainly, because you realize, like, oh, okay, like, this is somebody. Like there has been a transformation in this character.
Yeah.
That was Angel Boreanaz.
And then the thing that bothers me most is that that Drusilla is not on the show again. Because this doesn't feel like a proper end to that arc. I don't know.
Is she not? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Where
100%.
does she fucking go? Do we not see her? I know, but we don't see her get up and like grab some snacks from the 7-Eleven and get on the train. And how did she like gather herself?
Yeah, it drives me nuts. And it's so weird because it feels like bad writing or like they couldn't get the actor. But then literally the next, like when the shows were airing, the next week she is on Buffy. That's the episode where she goes to Buffy. And
she'd have been there 10 more episodes if they asked her. Right?
Like,
that sounds like a Josh Wheaton thing to me.
I had heard that there was like, I think maybe, and Zach, you might know, because I think did you watch Dexter, Zach?
Yes.
Was Dexter on at this point?
It must have been, right?
Because I know that they had like scheduling problems with Julie.
What year was this? Was this 01?
I think so.
Dexter TV series started in 2006.
January 01.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, so it wasn't on yet.
I've read that they had scheduling problems with Julie Benz and that reshaped the last half of the season. But I don't know how true that is because it's like a rumor. But right, it's like so weird that Drusilla like we don't see her leaving. She just is. They mention that she's gone, right, Kim? Isn't it like passing dialogue in the next episode? They're like just like, oh yeah, Drusilla left town.
I need to watch that episode then because I remember her acting. I mean, her usual Drusilla self, but like not as affected as you would be if you just got your ass set on fire.
Right. And that's why
I think it's true.
Very true.
They make a comment in that Buffy episode. That's why she's wearing a scarf to hide her burns. And she has like, Kim, isn't it just like a little mark on her face, I think?
I don't remember exactly.
It's like,
she's got something on her chest, doesn't she?
Yeah. But it's like barely.
I always thought that was like a steak mark when I was younger.
It's supposed to be from like being lit on fire.
Well.
But so also in my brain, that was always the last beat of this episode was like them just sitting.
Yeah, and then there's more.
But yeah, there's more. What is the more, Kim?
Well, we go to Wolfram and Hart, and from there we discover that no one's killing Lindsay or Lila anytime soon because they get to be co-executive vice presidents of special projects together.
I'm glad you wrote it down because it was as a whole. It's a made up title that doesn't exist.
I will have you know, Kim. This is why, again, which one of us has the PhD? I wrote. They are appointed acting joint co-presidents. Like I missed all the rest of that. I don't know.
I wrote co-partners. I thought they really excelled.
Teamwork.
There was this tweet going around. My friend Alex Better tweeted, who's been on the podcast a few times, like you know how there was that meme going around where it was like open couple, one hot. It was like, and people were like posting memes of. I think it might have been while you were off Twitter, Zach. They were like, I keep thinking of that in relation to podcasts where it's like 2 podcast hosts, 1 smart. And here it's 3 podcast hosts, 1 smart.
1 smart.
Y'all are too kind and too cruel to yourselves.
I also didn't, Kim, did you remember that? Because I didn't remember. I knew they totally didn't kill them, but I don't remember them getting like in charge of that department.
I mean, I feel like they become the 2 Wolfram and Hart people that we know the best, so it makes sense.
That's true. Yeah, I think I just always thought they just like, I mean, I remembered Holland dying, but I was like, I don't know, I just thought they just were still just lawyers there. And I do like how ominous, it's like, you know, just a regular guy, but he's like kind of shadowy the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That room is dark.
Yeah, and then when he says like, the senior partners will be watching you, I think that's a really good, like, don't fuck it up. I don't know, I like that shit.
Yeah.
Then we end on Mr. Angsty fighting, throws a dart in a dartboard.
It's a knife. It's a knife. It's not even a dart.
Right, knife.
When Wesley walks in, I did love this. Wesley walking in and being like, bitch, we're going to do this anyway. We own this hotel. This is our place. This is our business. And you do what you do. If you need to stay down here and be creepy and by yourself, you can do that. But we're saving the world.
And again, he doesn't say anything. Again, these last 2 scenes where he is in the warehouse and about to drop the cigarette, and then when Wesley comes down and he's throwing the knives or whatever, like, this is when I realize, oh, he hasn't said a word this whole episode. Because these are moments where Angel, not Angel Boreanaz, would have talked. You know, he likes to talk.
Yeah.
And in this case, nothing both times. And I was just waiting for him to speak his first word of the episode in the warehouse and then in this moment with Wesley, and we just get nothing. Nope. Yeah.
We get, let them fight the good fight. Someone has to fight the war. Let Buffy say it, and I'll be on the floor. It'll be an amazing line. But Angel, Mr. Boreanaz.
Right, it's so corny. Like, ugh.
It is.
Ugh. But I like that they are basically like, hey, fuck you. We're still going to do this. You're being an asshole, but we're still doing this. Because also, I just don't understand his logic there, right? Like, even with his narration of they can fight the good fight, I have to fight the war. And it's like, no, but asshole, they would help you fight Darla and Drusilla if you just weren't a dickhead about it. Like,
also, you could have killed Darla and Drusilla.
Yeah.
You chose not to. You had their asses on fire. It only takes one swipe of a sword to cut their heads off while they're running for the fire hydrant. Like, you had your chance to fight the war. You didn't do it. Clearly, you're not a valuable member of Angel Investigations.
Zach is done with them.
Done.
Yeah, Tim, I don't know. What's your Professor Brains? Because I don't know. The writing with that doesn't quite land, but I do like where we go with it. The reasoning and the like logic just isn't there for me.
Of him not killing them?
No, of him, like, I guess like that paired with what he's saying, the way he's talking about it, like, I have to do the dirty work. It's like, well, you didn't even fucking kill them.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pay any attention to the monologues. Like, yeah. I mean, he does say the battle war thing at the end. I remember him saying that, but I'm just like, shut up. You know, my Professor Brain doesn't have time for your broody monologuing. Like, let's get to the characters that are interesting. And I mean, I like Angel as a character more than Zach does, like, certainly. But it's just like he's in his, like you had said at one point, unfortunate reference, like he's like Harry Potter in 5, like book 5 right now, where it's just like, dude, shut up. Like, you're better than this.
Yeah.
He's giving himself a little too much drama. He's about to come out and be like, all my life I had to fight Angel, right? And that's just calm down, sir. You have a team. We've gone through this. Yeah. You have a team now. You have people. You just fucked up Darla and Drew. Just like, okay, calm the brooding down a little bit. Go back upstairs. Let's all discuss. See what we're doing. Clearly, we've chased Drew out of town.
I don't think it's bad writing, though.
You know, okay.
I don't think so.
It's just where his character's at right now, and why we don't like characters in these positions is because they're annoying, because they're in their head, because they're not going to therapy or listening to their friends or whatever.
I like the idea of Angel going to therapy.
I don't do it. Don't do it.
If there's like witch unions, there's got to be like vampire therapy.
That's true. Or like demon therapy. Like,
Why do you feel the need to kill? Why do you feel the need to drink blood? To survive, ma'am?
if they're a vampire therapist, they know that. They'll be like,
yeah, Zach.
why do you feel the need to cut yourself off?
Well, then they could have added those when they take over Wolfram and Hart. Okay, that's also him dropping the ball.
I mean, maybe they did, and we just didn't see it because that seems
because every LA went into hell. LA got taken over by hell.
Well, yeah, and then the episode ends
Spoiler
on
alert.
him throwing the knife at the dartboard. Oh, spoiler alert. Speaking of spoiler alert, Nick Says Boo felt so bad that he thought he spoiled the show for you, Zach. In the trial.
Oh, did he?
Because he texted me and he was like, Ian, you didn't tell me they didn't know. Like, I didn't mean to spoil it for them. I was like, no, it's fine. They get spoiled. They know doing the podcast.
Yeah. I get spoiled all the time. It's okay. Because I know the direction we're going anyway.
Yeah.
So just, it's
Also,
fine.
it's sort of ambiguous.
The only thing I was spoiled on I was very, very disappointed on, but I was very happy that it did get spoiled for me, was that Angel and Cordelia don't get together.
Yeah.
Because I was livid. I was livid after that, but
yeah.
I'm glad knowing that now rather than watching and waiting.
Right. But it's fine.
Is it fine, Kim? Is it fine?
You forgive it.
You do forgive it because it eventually ends with a very good end.
She's too good for him, so fuck that.
They work so well together.
No.
But yeah, it was funny because it was the episode The Trial that I wasn't there. Nick Says Boo was there, and he I forgot. I don't remember. What did he say that you and Dana both didn't know?
It was something about Connor, because we were talking about Connor, I think. So it was something to do with that.
Because yeah, you're right. Because I remember whatever you were talking about, I was like, yeah, but he was able to talk about it, so he at least knew that like that character exists, and that's not for a while. Okay, we're at the end. Favorite scene, Kim?
My favorite scene has to be, I think when Darla gets annoyed with Drew and Drew's basically telling her the future. Like I know the outfits aren't the best in that scene, but as Zach pointed out, it is a beautiful scene with like the sort of like unfocused background and like the blueness of everything and the way they're centered. So it looks good, minus the Drew's sweater. And I just like that Drew's like telling her what's going to happen. And not only is she not listening, but just like how like snappy and annoyed she gets with her. I think it says a lot about their relationship. I don't know. And y'all know I love it. A Drew.
You do.
A Drew poem.
You do. Zach?
I'm going to say the same thing, but I'm going to simplify it a little bit just to the shot, just because the shot is truly gorgeous. Like even the sweater looks amazing in that shot. It's just, it's really well done.
I mean, mine's I have a tie, and it's neither of them are the scene you picked.
You don't have to be different.
Yeah, him. Well, I think this is a pretty obvious one. Him lighting them on fire as my favorite. Like that's fucking cool.
No, that's patriarchy.
Well, you know I am sexist, so either that but it's tied with the drunk karaoke because I love a drunk moment. Give me more Cordy Wesson gun drinking.
Oh, that would have been a great song for them to sing too.
What?
Give me more.
Oh, right.
It wasn't out yet, but it would have been fun.
Favorite outfit, Zach?
I like Cordelia's fur coat look. I think the hair didn't look as bad with that fur coat.
All right.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Kim?
Absolutely that coat, because that is a coat I either owned or would have owned in my late teens, early 20s, and 100% would still own today.
I think you should own it today.
I want you guys to know I did not realize I'm like literally rewinding the episodes. I have it up on mute because I like don't remember what coat you're talking
You're like,
about.
they wore clothes? What?
It's got like a floofy, like feathery collar.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's like 100. Like I had that coat. I had it in brown and I had it in gray, and I never had one in black.
Kim, oh my God, wait. It was like grayish purple, right?
Yeah, it was like mauve-ish.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's very vampire.
Yeah.
Very vampire. Ian's favorite outfit is Angel's white tank top when he's in his training montage.
It might be that. I think I went with Darla and her all blacks. I do think Darla looks really good in this episode, and I love a uniform black.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll go with Angel because those arms were looking nice.
Were they?
I love that you're not.
I'm blind. I can't see over the brooding.
Professor Kimberly and Southwick, what grade do you give it?
I'm gonna give it an A-.
Oh, all
I
right.
think that the brooding doesn't really, if you ignore it and you're just like, whatever, he's hot, and doing their brooding thing, and the rest of the episode's fine. I'm into it.
All right, Zach.
I will say that the brooding, there's not enough of it for it to be like that annoying.
Yeah.
It's just fun to make fun of and point out. So I guess B+ is what I'd say.
I see now I'm the one that's the harshest grader. Now I'm like rethinking my grade. I gave it a B- because the only reason the thing that bothers me most about it is that it's an abrupt end to this arc that had such good potential. And I feel like it's a weird, fart of an ending because it's just yep, and then Drusilla's gone. And
okay, so you're adding it along with the other two then.
I guess
okay.
I'm considering it in context of the other two, but
that's fair, I mean, but I did I gave the other one an A. So I felt like it had to be a dock down a little bit because it's not as good as the middle one, but yeah.
Well, all right. Yeah, maybe I'll go with a flat B instead of a B-. I'll bump it up to it. I had B- / C+, but now, yeah. I feel like C+ is what I did a lot of Angel Season 1 episodes, and this is way better than an Angel Season 1 episode. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you both for doing this. Thank you all for listening. My brain has been mush lately. Zach and Kim have been very patient with me.
You're doing great.
I even tried to plan this episode around their availability and forgot to ask a third person because that's where my brain is.
Okay, but do you need a third person? Really?
We did great.
I think you have two A-list celebrities here with you. So.
I mean, what's better than Ian talking to his best friends?
Exactly.
But if you want to follow us, we are at SlayerFestX on all social media platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. If you want to follow me, I am at Ian X Carlos on all social media platforms. Kim, where can everyone find you and get your book?
Yeah, if you love Drew and or poetry, check out my poetry book, Orchid Alpha. If you go to my website, KimberlyAnnSouthwick.com, there's a link there. And also it should be on my socials. I'm on Twitter at KimAnnJoSouth.
And Zachary, where can everyone find you and your other shows?
You can find me, just like a quick bounce off of the book. The Orchid Alpha book is very, very good. My favorite one is, I sent it to Ian actually. It's Why Are We All Suddenly Afraid of the Kitchen Floor? It's a very good poem out of that one. So, but you can find me by searching Zachary Patton-Garcia. I usually pop up. You can search My Bloody Judy, a horror podcast I do with Ian Carlos Crawford here. And yeah, that's, good stuff. Find me in the sewers of LA.
The giant sewers.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Well, we will see you next time. Bye.